Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't done it yet, we'll wait just a few seconds for you to go hit subscribe. You, watching right now, go down, subscribe, push the button. That's it. Hit the little bell, too. Get notified when we have new episodes come over and over and over again. And don't forget to check out our links in our description down below for all of the information on our guests, on our partners, and all of their websites that are all linked down there. We're here at ICC-Con 3, hosted by Terrence Baker and the Independent Creators Connection. And we're hanging with writer and author Gary Roen. And you're the creator of Journey. All right, so Gary, thanks for hanging with us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Tell us about Journey.
Well,
not just any journey, that journey.
This journey.
That journey.
It's been one.
It has.
I've been a book critic for over 40 years. And I got to review everybody else. And then in March of this year, I said, it's my time. And I did that because I was out in one of my favorite haunts here in Orlando, where I live. And I said, well, it's done. And I wrote a short story involving my bear character again. Okay. And that was called To the Rescue. And I thought, wait a minute. So I called a friend of mine that is a publisher in Orlando, Gabriel Vaughn of Legacy Book Publishing, and said, don't you think it's time you did my book? He said, yes. So
I want to be able to make that call. That's cool.
It's because of the years of the reviewing.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at it that we all have a step-by-step evolution. That's why I called it Journey. It's also in the book, I give a little bit of where the idea came from that started that short story. So each one pretty much has that.
Spoiler alert. Tell us a little bit. What is Journey about?
It's a collection of 25 short stories.
Okay.
That I've written over a period of a number of years. How long, I'm not sure.
But it is your literary journey.
Yeah, it's my literary journey in addition to stories of science fiction that I have written over the years.
Wow.
And some I was influenced by The Twilight Zone. Wow. Some I was influenced by Richard Matheson.
What about the science fiction fantasy genre draws you? What pulls you into this weird, wonderful world that we're all a part of?
The question, what if? Each of my stories says, what if this happened? What if you had a cell phone that became an entity and says to you, who do you want to text? And you say, no one. Well, who do you want to text? And
smart-ass Siri.
Exactly.
We don't want that.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then it says to you, give me the confirmation code and I'll text for you. And the person says, confirmation code? What are you talking about?
See, I don't want Siri to be that much of a smartass because my GPS is already smarter than I am.
You know, and mine is, what if it played with you and did things that, you know, and I base things on things that happen. Example, there's a lovely lady who works at a restaurant that I frequent named Tosh. It is not Tasha, it is Tosh. So the phone says, call from Tasha, and the character says, I don't know anybody named Tasha. And he finally says, do you mean Tosh? I'm sorry, call ended. So I mean, it's things like that that I put in.
Now the contact that you were able to make and to reach out to get this to bring this to fruition is one that you made through your years in reviewing.
Exactly.
So reviewing must have helped you in a lot more than just the contact. How did it influence your writing? As a reviewer, how did that influence your writing?
Because I studied other writers and what they're doing and what things that I don't want to do. Example, I give a test to new writers. I did it last night. I met a family. She wants to write. I said, I want you to do this. I'm not going to explain why, but I want you to do it. And she said, what's that? I said, read 2 Daniel Steele books, cross out and button suddenly every time you see them on the page. What she will find is 32 to 40 times a page those 2 words are used, the 3 words are used. That's overkill. As a writer, that's what I study. Other
Nice.
people and what they do. So I'm more cautious to not use the same words
If
in
you
what I
can
write.
find our mistakes as a reviewer, you can avoid making them as a writer.
Somewhat, but this book had the editorial process. Julia Duvall, who is with Legacy, found things that I didn't see, and when she did, I said, okay.
Always.
Always.
Writers, aspiring writers, when your editor sends you notes, read them.
Exactly.
Listen to them. We
Yeah.
miss a lot. I
Yeah.
love to put words on paper. I love to form and craft
Exactly.
sentences. But sometimes I let it a little too much.
Exactly.
And I'll miss the double the.
Yep.
We've all had
We've all had that.
We've all had that. We miss those things
Yep.
because our eye sees what our brain wanted
Exactly.
to do, not always what our fingers did.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
listen to your editors out there. In your years as a reviewer, what was the book that influenced you the most?
Oh my God.
That
I
spoke
don't know.
to you the most? Something that to this very day
don't
you
know.
think, that book. No?
I know.
Not
No.
any one.
You're talking over 40 years of reviewing.
No
And
favorite.
No favorite.
No favorite.
I have a lot of favorites. James Patterson is one I like.
James Patterson,
because
amazing.
He's so quick.
Amazing writer.
And amazing. And his style is what the other authors that actually write the books a lot of times
Now, as a
is
reviewer
doing.
and then as a writer,
Yeah.
I tell my writers, especially because some of us are old school, some of
Yeah.
us are modern English writers. I put these 2 greats
Right.
up in the hands and say, okay, are you Dickens, Hemingway?
Neither one.
Neither one.
I'm
okay.
me.
Me, that's right.
I am
well,
me.
I say that
And-
because influentially, Dickens tended to ponder on,
Yeah.
while Hemingway did it with 17 short, concise, incredibly English sparing sentences. Are you somewhere in the middle of that?
I'm somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't try to be anybody but me in my own style, which I'm developing.
Awesome.
I've been developing, and I play with different forms. Some, like one that I wrote recently, is all dialogue. It's all dialogue with a twist of an ending, like a Twilight Zone.
Wow.
And my publisher read it, editor read it. They both love it because
Fantastic.
of what it's doing, and it's my take on cell phones again. I'm not a big fan of the use of the cell phone. It's not the cell phone. It's the people who use
I was going
them.
to say, the cell phone's a tool.
Yeah,
It's like a
Yeah.
hammer, a screwdriver, your car. They're all tools.
exactly.
The problem, I think, when a new tool comes out,
Yeah,
is that we tend to dive. When the Phillips head screwdriver replaced the old screwdriver, we tend
Yeah.
to overuse it to a point where we forget that it's not attached to us. It's a tool.
yeah, and it's. There's nothing worse than when you're in a restaurant or you're out with people and you see a husband and wife. They're both on their cell phones. They're supposed to be eating dinner, and often servers have told me we don't like those kind of people because they complain that their meals are too cold. Well, hell, they don't eat. They're too busy on their cell phones.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you what. We have talked about your book,
Yeah,
and we've talked about your writing process.
exactly.
And now we're going to have a little bit of fun before we have to
Sure.
go. And what I'm going to do is I told the girls, go out and find me weird, bizarre questions or just personal questions
Okay.
that I can ask, and hopefully we'll get one of those beautiful clickbait headlines based on our answers, okay? So if you could talk to the ghost of a famous writer, who would it be and what would you say?
The ghost of a famous writer, Donald E. Westlake.
Donald D. West. And what would you have to say?
What's Dortmunder going to do now?
want to know
Spirit
that.
animal.
The internet wants to know. They want to know, what
Spirit
would your
animal.
spirit animal be?
Okay.
Huh.
Spirit animal. A wolf.
Oh, I was going to say, he's a book reviewer. As far as we're all concerned, he's a carnivore. A good, but you know what?
Yeah.
A good book reviewer should be a carnivore.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I want people to like my book. I really do.
Yep.
But I want to become a better writer. I want every book to make me a better writer.
Exactly.
And it's that review that tears me a new one that makes me go back and say, you know what, that was fun and I enjoyed doing it and I hope someone likes it.
Depends
But
on
that
how
guy-
the review is written, though. And
That's
I
true.
try to give feedback of what I think is wrong with the book, and I never, ever hit the writer himself or herself. I've seen reviewers do it, and it goes to the heart of the crux of the matter, and that is a frustrated writer who will take on the person of who's written the book and not what they've written.
And it takes a certain kind of spirit, a certain kind of courage, if you will, to put your name out there. To either,
does.
When you
It
submit
does.
a query letter to an agent or a publisher, when you hit publish, if you're an indie author, or when you're talking to your friends at small press publishing companies, when you take that work off of your laptop, off of your desk, and put it in someone else's hands, whether it's a reader on Amazon or a publisher or agent, you've just done something that. How many people do we talk to as authors who say, oh, you know, I was going to write a book once. Was going to write a book once.
I talk to them all the time.
That's right.
I was at a writers group and I was insulted by one of the writers, but he's a wannabe because he kept saying, you talk a lot, don't you? Yeah, I do. You know why? Because I'm promoting my book. I'm promoting other people's books. And if you don't do it yourself, nobody else is going to do it.
That's right.
You know,
the days are long gone when there was an entire floor of marketing that marketed, because the days of 5 guys in suits deciding what the readers read, those are over.
No, they are now. They look movie project. They look at sales. It's not based on quality.
What they want now is, if you want to market yourself, they want you to do it.
That's right.
Even the big 5.
That's right.
Will tell you they want you out on the. They want you on the road. They want you at conventions. They want you at signings. They want you doing the work, because there are too many. The market is massive.
Yeah.
People are deciding for themselves what they want to read. They're not listening to anybody else anymore.
Exactly.
So in order to be good, you have to be out there promoting.
And the person who is not going to do it is not going to go anywhere.
That's right.
Because they just don't want to apply themselves. They got to learn. I learned many years ago to sell books. I had no expertise, nothing. I went out and did it. And then it's the same thing all of my life, adult life, professional. I have done it myself and found satisfaction in everything I do.
We learn by doing. I noticed your shirt, Air Force.
I was in the Army.
I was in the Army.
But I found this. I find a lot of things at Goodwill and thrift stores, and I love it.
I'm an old Army grunt. We have a daughter in the Air Force, and my oldest boy, it was a Marine, and his younger brother is now in the Army himself. So, we pass it on down, right?
Yeah, we do.
Pass that torch down.
Do.
That's my shut up card. We've been having a little too much fun. So, I'll go ahead and listen. This time, thank you so much to Some Unique Magazine, to Space Coast Comics, to Wordfire Press, to the folks at Famous Faces and Funnies, and Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason. We thank you guys for sharing these videos, these fantastic creators like writer and author Gary Roen all over the World Wide Web. I'm GW Pomichter, and we have been hanging with you from ICC Con 3. Check out the links down below for more information about writer and author Gary Roen and the book Journey. That's his journey, folks. Learn it. Check it out. Start your own journey today by remembering to subscribe. Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.